You're watching TelecomTV from the Red Hat NFVi event in Barcelona. And I'm joined now by Roz Roseboro, who is Senior Analyst with Heavy Reading. Roz, thanks for joining us on TelecomTV. Tell me more about the presentation you made here at the Red Hat event. You conducted this survey about NFVi and NFVi infrastructure. Tell me about its aims.
Well, it was a study that we conducted for Red Hat of telcos to get some information from them regarding their thoughts on NFVi platforms in terms of what was important to them for them to feel comfortable deploying these new NFVi platforms to run their production networks.
So who took part in the survey? Who did you approach?
Well, it's essentially we leverage our database of telcos from around the world. It's a range of converged network operators, tier ones, tier twos, fixed network operators. We try to get the full gamut in terms of size, geography, and what service line they're in.
And what were the key findings from the research?
Well, I think one of the most interesting things that came out of it was that there's still a lot of decisions yet to be made. We asked them questions about how they were going to procure their NFVi systems. Some of them said they will go to a systems integrator. Some of them said they will go to a VNF supplier. And a fair number of people still don't really know how they're going to do it. I think some of them are still intending to integrate the various components themselves. One thing that was consistent was that I say about 2/3 of them said, we want best of breed. We want best of breed components and we'll worry about the integration part later. I do think that's going to change over time. I do expect that once people start this process, they're going to discover that integration is really hard. So I'm glad that we're asking the questions now because I think over time we are going to see some changes.
And were there any findings that really surprised you?
Well, I have to say, actually there were two. One of them was that when we asked them which attributes were most important, something other than security came in number one, and it was reliability. And at first I was perplexed by this. I actually was speaking with someone from Red Hat about this, and what he suggested, which I think makes perfect sense, is that initially, before they start the process, of course security is important, but once they start doing this, once they actually try to deploy something, they realize that we've got to make sure this platform is solid before we start running production traffic on it. The other thing that was surprising, and I don't think I've ever seen, I can't think of a time I saw such an overwhelming result, was when we asked, is service availability more important than hardware availability? And the reason we asked that question is because telcos historically were all about 5 nines. The hardware has to be rock solid. When we're talking about NFV, we're talking about virtualization. It's the software that needs to be reliable. And 97% said that service availability was more important than hardware, which was a stunning result to me. It's a good result, but the fact that it was so overwhelming was certainly a surprise.
So what would you say the results mean to telcos who are either in the process of deploying NFVi or seriously thinking about it?
Well, I think that they are not alone in being perhaps confused, that a lot of people, even the people that are on the leading edge, when you look at some of the larger tier ones, the AT&Ts, Verizons and things, they don't have it all figured out yet either. So I think it's a matter of just keep trying it, have faith that it will work. The vendors are working very hard to get these platforms ready for them, but that the time is now. Well over half of the people we surveyed said that they're already executing. So folks that are sitting on the sidelines, if you're not doing it, your competitors are going to. So I think that should give them, I would encourage them to go forward and not wait for everything to be perfect.
As you say, there are many vendors who are working hard on NFVi. What are the implications to the wider ecosystem? One
of the other findings was that the telcos don't have a ton of confidence just yet in the platforms. We asked them about how confident they were in availability, reliability, security, and overall I would say there's still a little bit of skepticism. Again, we're talking about telcos and we're talking about IT technologies and platforms coming from a different environment, so the telcos are still a little bit skeptical. So I would say for the vendors, keep doing what you're doing, get those things rock solid. These concerns are valid, these concerns are real, but it's still very early days, and I think there's plenty of time for them to get it right.
Roz, thank you very much indeed.